Hi, I'm Mark, and today I need to talk about more scandals in the UK. And it's not just the Tories. A newspaper report prompts a wave of resignations from a respective British industry association. A former employee describes a rape by two colleagues, and she did not get any help from her employer. The CBI has suspended its work for the time being, and the police are also investigating in other cases. That means that the British Industry Association CBI, which is Confederation of British Industry, is struggling with a violent exodus. As the British news agency PA reported, BMW, Unilever and Virgin Media O2, among others, announced their withdrawal from the association. Others, such as supermarket chains Asda, Sainsbury's and Tesco, have suspended their cooperation for the time being. The background to this are reports from the former employees of the association about harassment and even rape. The Guardian reported on the latest case on Friday and triggered a new wave of exits. A woman who worked at a CBI office abroad said she was raped by colleagues after they went out together. She woke up with the two men in the same room and found signs of rape on her body. That's what the woman told the newspaper. She can't remember anything, not even consenting to sexual activity. The men later made lewd remarks and showed her a photo in the office in which she appeared to be unconscious with a penis in her mouth. The ex-employee accused the CBI of having created an atmosphere in which colleagues in the office not only did not have to fear any consequences, but could even be kind of proud of such actions. The City of London police announced last week that they were investigating an earlier report of a rape and complaints from a dozen women who had contacted the police over alleged managerial misconduct. CBI President Byron McBride described the latest Guardian report as terrible and expressed his condolences to the alleged victim. They say they are working closely with the police to bring the perpetrators to justice. The association announced that it would stop all activities until the General Assembly in June. Then the future of the organization should be decided. A law firm was commissioned with an internal investigation of the incidents. And just a few days ago, the association fired its general manager Tony Danker for misconduct. He is accused of being intrusive towards a colleague. But as bad as it is, there are enough scandals in Great Britain at the moment. And after Dominic Raab of the Tories, it is now even Labour's turn again, which reminds me of very Corbyn times. The British Labour Party has suspended the well-known Member of Parliament Diane Abbott from the parliamentary group until further notice after a racism comparison. That means Abbott can no longer vote as a Labour member. She has been a Member of Parliament since 1987. The opposition party, which had to defend itself against allegations of anti-Semitism in the past, was thus responding to a letter that the Black MP had written to the Observer newspaper. In response to an article on racism in Britain, Abbott wrote that various white people also experience prejudice, but are not like black people exposed to racism all their lives. Irish Jews and vagabonds should not have sat in the back of the bus in America, she wrote, among other things. Jewish Labour MP Margaret Hodge called the words deeply offensive. After Abbott's suspension, she wrote on Twitter on Sunday that she unreservedly retracts the comments. Party leader Keir Starmer's reaction was correct. No apologies, no delays. The comments would now be investigated. Abbott, Britain's first black MP and once Shadow Home Secretary under controversial ex-leader Jeremy Corbyn, apologized. She explained that she wanted to completely withdraw her statements and distance herself from them. Racism takes many forms, and there is no evidence that Jews have experienced its most monstrous consequences. And I have to say this as a German, obviously. Is she completely out of her mind? There is no evidence that Jews had to face the most monstrous consequences. Everybody with a sane mind on this planet knows that at least 6 million Jews faced the most monstrous consequences that weren't even imaginable before the time between 1933 and 1945. I am very much on the side of black people when it's about anti-discrimination. I am absolutely against discrimination of all kinds, be it race, sex, gender identities, sexuality, religion, whatever. But there is definitely a limit what is allowed in their own work against discrimination. And those words, especially the last ones I heard, are definitely crossing the line by far. You cannot reduce the burden of others, especially people that have suffered like this in Germany in the last century, just to bring your own topic higher. That is completely atrocious. And we had this, I talked about Corbyn recently in another video, and because of the next general election. But this is now really something that made me almost speechless, and it makes me really angry. I myself have been the target of discrimination or hatred long before YouTube. Now I'm target of hatred every day, but that's a different topic. It's not acceptable because to hate people and spread hate with your anonymous profiles on the internet, but that's a general problem we have on this planet at the moment. No, I'm talking about personal attacks because just for being gay. But I would never compare what I'm going through to that, what a lot of Jews are still going through today, or what black people are going through today in many places in this world, or what gay people are going through in some other countries in this world. So I'm living in a kind of rainbow wonderland with regard to this and those attacks we see here, although in my hometown somebody was killed for just defending some lesbians. I talked about this when it happened. It's still not the rule here. And others are doing much worse. But this is a problem we have on the whole planet. But this is a problem we have to fight. But playing one group that is under fire by hatred and work against them when you're part of another group that's a target of hatred, that is the darkest thing I can imagine for you to do. Sorry. I'm not going against foreigners, for example, just to avoid being the target of hatred for being gay. No, I'm not spreading hatred against other people only because I'm the target. And this comment on the Jews, seriously. I have a lot of criticism for the government of Israel, but I have no criticism for the Jews as a whole. And there's no reason to attack anybody for just being a Jew. The same as it's not for just being black or being Asian or whatever, or being white. That happens as well. But using other groups for your own purposes. Bah. I'm sorry, I'm a bit lost track here, but I'm really angry on especially on those comments. And somebody that must really know what discrimination means. Doing something like this makes me even more angry. But I'll come back with another topic soon. I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.